Copyright disclaimer: under the Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
But pay attention to this clip.
In 1926, they discovered the perfect trap. 40 hours keeps you alive, but too tired to escape. Henry Ford ran the numbers. He tested different work schedules and found the sweet spot. 40 hours. Not because it's optimal for productivity, because it's optimal for control. Let's do the math. 40 hours work, 10 hours commuting, 56 hours sleeping, 14 hours for eating, showering, basic survival. That's 120 hours, leaving you 48 hours of free time. Except you're exhausted. So you spend Saturday recovering from the week, and Sunday dreading Monday. Your weekend isn't freedom, it's recovery time, so you can do it again. Monday morning, the alarm goes off, and you feel it, that existential dread. 5 days until freedom. 5 days of giving your life away. For what? A paycheck that disappears instantly. Rent, bills, food, loans. Nothing left. You want to start that business? Too tired. Learn that skill? Too tired. Build that project? Too tired. That's not an accident. That's the design. If you had energy left over, you'd leave. If you had money left over, you'd build something. If you had time left over, you'd organize. They can't let that happen. So they found the formula. Just enough money to survive, just enough time to not completely break, just enough energy to come back tomorrow, but never enough to escape. And then they tell you, work hard for 45 years, then you can retire. So you do it. You trade your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s for a paycheck. And at 65, you're free. Except your body's broken, your energy's gone. You spent your best years building someone else's dream, and your freedom came too late to use it. The 40-hour work week isn't about productivity, it's about compliance. Keep you tired, keep you poor, keep you busy. Too exhausted to think, too broke to leave, too busy to organize. That's not employment, that's control. And you'll do it for the next 45 years. Unless you break or escape. But you won't, because you can't afford to. That's the trap.
Alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the elders of Great Millstone rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations be unto the Akim, I heard pushing this gospel and truth and sincerity to the best of their ability given to them by Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Lord will, and fall upon all your houses. This is Brother Corner Wath, come back at you, Lord will, with edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Lord will. It is edifying, Lord will. It is straight to the point. Esau, Edom truly is the fucking devil, man. He truly is the fucking devil that the Bible speaks of. You know, as you had seen in that video, man, you know that in the early 1900s, right, they ultimately decided to, you know, establish a 40-hour work week, you know, and as you saw through the, you know, the little animation, right, the little video, it's detrimental, right? It ultimately keeps you in this never-ending loop, you know, of work, little life, you know, work. And that's ultimately because Esau wants, right? And I can't remember who made this quote. I'd have to go and look this quote up. Spirit just kind of hopped on me to, you know, to do this lesson. But I can't remember what dude, you know, what man only made this statement, but he said that they want a nation of workers and not a nation of thinkers. You know, and see, this is what they ultimately, you know, set up, right? Everybody everybody is stuck in this 40-hour work week, 40 to 60, sometimes even more, you know, uh, 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 um, hours a week, right? Where they have to sit here and they have to go to work and basically destroy themselves mentally, physically, right? In order to pay these bills, and with, prices continuing to go up, people are having to pick up a second job, in order to pay bills, man, and it's all because of Esau Edom, it's not supposed to be like this, you know, like there's no room, there's no time to spend with your family, you know no time for yourself, right, to unwind, to relax, as I said, right, that you're utilizing Saturday and Sunday, to recover, if you will. And the days are going by faster, right? The days are going by faster, right? First and foremost, because the prophets are on the scene, and preaching this gospel, preaching this word, right? And what does it say in Isaiah 62, right? Give him no rest till he make Jerusalem and praise in the earth, right? So we're constantly throwing up the prayers, constantly doing these videos, constantly, crying out, against this damn devil, man. So the Lord's speeding the days up. So that time of recovery goes by in an instant, Esau is truly the fucking devil, man. Let me read this, man. I got these. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. This is Psalm 64, verse 2. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, right? And Esau's got these different secret councils and, whatnot, the Davos summits and G20 summits and, the different, meetings that they have behind the scenes that we don't know about, especially the one that, the meetings that they have in California, the Bohemian Grove, and again, all these different secret societies and meetings that they have, that we don't know about, right? Where they ultimately, they sit there and they think about these things, man. They think about, hey, how can we continue to enslave the masses? How can we continue to, utilize, these people, right? Because they look at the masses, right, as goyim cattle, right? That they can ultimately use to work and benefit off of, right? They don't look at the people as people. They look them as cattle, as property, and this is how they conjure up different plans and whatnot, like the one that you see in that video, right? This 40-hour work week. When it comes to construction, people are doing 50 and 60-hour work weeks, right? They, my job ultimately, asked me, if I was willing to do 6/12s, right? Monday through Saturday, 12 hours a day. That's insane, right? Where's the life and work balance? There is none, man. Because again, these people don't see you as a human being. They see you, as cattle. Right, dropping down to verse 5, it says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see me? Right, and Esau's all about setting up different traps. The 40-hour work week is a fucking trap, man. Right, because now you're not able to worry about your own or building your own business and build up your family and build it, because you're so worried about and focused on building his kingdom, his establishment. It's a fucking trap, right? It says which you got even other countries around the world, right? They're doing 32-hour work weeks, man, and they're benefiting the people. Shit, Esau ain't gonna do that shit, right? Verse 6, it says they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, right? Esau, man, he did a diligent search, man. What can we do that will, keep the people working, right? But give them or allow them to think that they have enough time or enough freedom to where they're not going to rebel, because this 40-hour work week has been something that's been going on, right, for over 100 years, And the people are not rebelling against it, right? I bet the people are not rebelling against a 40-hour work week, right? These people are more than willing to do it, These people are excited to go and do this 40-hour work week and get that little bit of fucking, chicken scratch of a pay, right? That they get. People are okay with that, man. People are okay with all of that shit, man. And really, this is hell, you know? This is fucking hell, right? We're not living, right? We're just surviving, and that's what Esau has ultimately, the position that he's put the people in. But see now, right? All of this is starting to, weigh more and more on the masses, man. Right? And these people are in a state of mourning, right? There's Proverbs, right? People are not, able to just do, one 40-hour, work week job. People are having to pick up more work, do more extracurricular things outside, the norm, spending more time working than they are, living, right? It says Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, and the way that the state of the world that it's in now, hey, there's nobody rejoicing, man. You got islands of garbage in the ocean, right? You got animals that are extinct, We're talking about whole species, lines of animals being completely extinct because of the pollution, right? Because of the trash, everything. Nobody is rejoicing. That's why it says, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. These people are in a state of mourning, and it's not just the people, it's the animals, the earth, right? You read in Romans the 8th chapter, right? The whole creation groaneth, the whole creation groaneth, man. Esau is in rulership, man. And this fucking 40-hour work week, again, right? Most of us, right, that are in construction, we're doing 50, 60 hours, man. You get little to no time, at home, with your family, right? You're spending your time all with these people that are at work. And for those that know construction, a lot of these fucking dudes that are in construction, yeah, they might have families, this and the third, but they're fucking moles, man. The shit that they talk about and joke about and this and the third, scriptures say that, conversation of fools is irksome, man. Meaning it's fucking irritating and it's vexing because these people don't talk about shit, right? These people are not willing to, go and try to, better themselves or try to, make their life, have a little bit more value than what it currently does. That people are okay with being stagnant. People are okay with being, still in the position that they're in now, right? Which when you go into that word stagnant, right, it's synonymous with death, and these people are spiritually dead, man. These people are spiritually fucking dead, and this is why they're okay with this shit, man. Hey, but we're not, man. This isn't at least for us, right? This is not how it's supposed to be, right? We're supposed to be on top, right? We're supposed to be ruling, right? We're supposed to be, dwelling in peace and rejoicing, but we fucked up, man. Let's grab that in Baruch real quick. I'm just kind of flowing through the spirit. This is Baruch, what is that, 2 or 3? And verse, was it 31? No, 2. I thought it was 2 and 13. The scripture talks about that. Had we listened, right, we would have dwelt in peace forever. Yeah. Right? It says, hold on. Peace forever. Apocrypha. God, I found it. This is Baruch 3 and 13. It says, for if thou hast walked in the way of the Most High, thou shouldest have dwelled in peace forever. So if we would have listened, right, if we would have taken heed, then we would have been on top, we would have been on top forever. But since we're not, this now, again, right, we're under, our enemies, man. you know, but soon again, right, Yahweh Hashem El Shai is ultimately going to, you know, turn this upside down, right? Turn this world upside down and put us in a, you know, rightful order, right? Which means, you know, we're going to be on top of the second Esdras 6 and verse 7. Actually, I'll hit verse 9 just the point. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right? Esau is the end, right? And we're looking at the end of his rulership. You know, he's being brought down, which means we're coming up, right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem El Shai. Soon, we're not going to have to deal with these 40-hour work weeks, man. We're not going to deal with 50, 60-hour work weeks, right? Soon, we're not going to have to sit here and worry about paying bills. Soon, we're not going to worry about polluted water, polluted food, right? All that shit's going to be a thing of the fucking past, man, you know? And we hoping that it happens, you know, sooner than later, man. Right? We already see all the signs. We understand that it's coming soon, but we're going to continue to throw up them prayers, continue to throw up, you know, the curses on this place so that the Lord Yahweh Hashem El Shai continue to bring this place down, man. You know? Because this ain't it, man. This is not it. Fuck this place, man. Fuck Esau, Edom, and fuck this goddamn place, man. You know? This place is vexing, man. You know? This is not our rest, right? This is Micah chapter 2 and verse 10, it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. Right, man? You know, this place is polluted, it's destroyed, right? Esau, you know, made it to where we're perpetual slaves, man. You know, while he's in authority, we're fucking slaves. We don't have no life. We're surviving. You know, we're not living. You know, but soon all that's gonna be done away with, man. Soon we're gonna be on top. You know, soon we're gonna be actually living, right? And Esau is gonna be surviving. You know, we can't wait, man. You know, which figure of speech, obviously. You know, we're gonna wait. You know, but hey, Esau, man, your days are numbered, man, and you ain't got too many days left. You know, but that's all I got, man. I'll just wanted to hit that through the spirit, man. You know, this shit is done for, man. You know, it's nothing but you know, mourning and you know, death when this you know, devil is ruling, man. Right, but soon we gonna be on top, man. You know. So with that, Lord will is edifying. Lord will straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak, Wadash, double honors to the other apostles, other bishops, of Great Millstone. Till next time I say shalom.